I'm going to go over the detailed wins and losses for the Titans' 11-5 record that I predicted they'll have in the 2020 NFL season. Start with the losses. There's at Bengals. Why I'm picking them to lose to the Bengals is because the Bengals, Burrow is going to have a more than 3 games experience as a starter, and I expect him to just play a great, fully effective game. He doesn't make the common rookie mistakes that an NFL rookie does. Bengals play a full, great, effective game to defeat the Titans in Cincinnati. And they also don't make the critical mistakes that has resulted in mainly where they lost to the Chargers, and also where they lost to the Browns in what was in the NFL Week 2 in Cleveland, in what was a competitive, highly competitive, dramatic, high-scoring, great, entertaining game that I know that I watched I was able to watch a high portion of. At the Ravens, this is a game that I got no doubt at all that the Ravens are going to win. Mainly, they're going to get their payback after getting embarrassed by the Titans in the second round of the playoffs. They play great in the first half, scoring a high amount of points of more than 13 points. They play great in the second quarter also, scoring more than 13 points. And they play great also in the third quarter, continuing to score more than 13 points, and then simply because they want to and because they really want to make this continue to make this an embarrassment, they score more than 13 points also in the fourth quarter. I expect this to become an embarrassment before it reaches halftime, and then it just gets worse even after in the second half, and the Ravens to win by a score of something like 56-14. And Henry will not be able to be highly effective, mainly because the fact that the Ravens continue to score points, and the Ravens are able to continue to have to make the Ravens might be winning by, they're going to be winning by 21 points or more, and that's going to force the Titans, mainly they're going to have to throw the football a hell of a lot, a high amount. They're not going to be able to come back. So yeah, I'm highly confident that the Ravens, they get their revenge and end up easily beating the Titans and winning by 42 points or more in Baltimore against the great Ravens team that I picked to go to the Super Bowl and lose to the 49ers. At Packers, again, this is another game where I got no doubt at all that the Packers are going to win, is mainly because it's in Green Bay, also because Packers might be expect Rodgers to have time to throw for most of the game in in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. And when Rodgers has time, he's highly effective when he has a high amount of time to throw for most of the first quarter. For most of the first half and most of the second half. So it's going to be a very miserable Sunday for the Tennessee Titans, and Packers are going to win this without sweating at all, because Rodgers is going to have time to throw in both the first half and the second half. He's going to throw for more than 4 touchdowns, and the Packers are going to look like the 1999 Rams, much like they did when they went into Minnesota and easily scored more than 38 points against the Vikings, which I was not expecting at all. If you told me that they were going to win, I could believe that, but if you told me that they were going to look like the 1999 Rams and take over Minnesota, I would have been freaking hugely shocked and not believed it, with them scoring more than 38 points against the Vikings. Vikings team is tough to defeat in Minnesota, and it's really tough to score that many points in Minnesota. So that's another game where I expect the team playing the Titans is going to win by more than 21 points At Texans, again, this is a game I expect to be competitive, dramatic, close, except the Texans are just going to make a high amount of more great plays than the Titans to win that game, including Deshaun Watson. He's going to be highly effective in both the first half, second half, as far as scrambling when he has to, making he throws completes these passes when he completes these backbreaker passes. He has these backbreaker passes. He has these backbreaker runs. As for the reasons, and also the Texas defense is they're getting sacks, they're getting stops when they have to. That's all the reasons why, and they're winning the turnover battle. So all reasons why I don't doubt all of the Texans win a competitive, close, good game in Houston. At Colts, this is going to be a competitive, also close game that the Colts end up winning in Indianapolis, because it's not bad Rivers. It shows up. It's like the highly effective Rivers, where he doesn't make any great mistakes. He just plays a great game. Doesn't have any turnovers, and even if he does, it's just a low amount. It's less than the Titans offense. So the Colts win the turnover battle. They make more great plays needed to win a competitive, good, close game, and the Colts play highly effective for both the first half and the second half. So those are the 5 losses, with my most confident being the ones that are most likely, I got no doubt at all, are going to happen, mainly at Ravens and at Packers. At Bengals is, I wouldn't be surprised if the Titans end up winning that, so that's still going to be, it's not going to be even if the Titans won that game, it wouldn't be just an easy win, mainly because the Burrow is going to have more than 3 games experience, and I expect the Bengals to just successfully gelling as a team, so they're going to be tougher to beat than they were earlier in the year, in the first month of the year, where Burrow and the Bengals are still learning to gel as a team. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if they also end up beating the Colts, mainly because this is the Rivers Colts, so it's possible if bad Rivers shows up for both in Nashville at the Titan in the game in Nashville, and also the game in Indianapolis. At Texans, they don't have DeAndre Hopkins, but they still have a highly effective team, so I'm still also pretty confident that the Titans lose that game in Houston, but I wouldn't be surprised if they won that game in Houston, mainly because the Titans, they haven't won mainly because the Titans, they end up going into Denver and end up winning against a talented Broncos team that might have their needed quarterback, which Drew Lock, because he's won 4 of his 6 games and was 4-1 as a starter before that Titans Monday Night Football game against the Titans. So I wouldn't be surprised after the Titans having won against the Broncos, they defeat what could be a good or pretty good, either a good or pretty good Texans team in Houston, mainly because maybe this is just the year the Vrabel Titans just, they play highly successful from start to finish, instead of after a unsuccessful start like they had in 2000, after a not successful first half, or not great good or great first half like they had in 2018 and 2019. Now on to the wins. I'm just going to, I got all this amount of details. I already had the Broncos, and that already happened, but I'll give you, as to the reasons why I had them beating the Broncos, is because the Titans the reason why I had the Titans defeating the Broncos in a great, competitive, dramatic, close game, and as to why Henry would run for more than 112 yards, which he did. He ran for 116 yards. Henry would run for 2 touchdowns. That didn't happen. The Titans would win 28-20. That didn't happen because the Titans ended up winning narrowly, 16-14. Also, the Titans would win the turnover battle, which they did. And the Titans defense would force Drew Lock to make great mistakes, and he did. There were multiple passes where he wasn't completing them, and he was really lucky that multiple times he ended up dodging a bullet of what could have been a Titans interception, including, if I recall right, it was on the last drive. And the Titans win time of possession, which they did, which was mainly because they were able to successfully run the football with Henry, who ran for 116 yards. And yeah, those are all the reasons why I had the Titans winning 28-20, and they didn't. They won 16-14, except they still won that game in Denver, a game that was more dramatic than they needed to be, and then the Titans showed that they are a team that can win ugly, which I'm very happy about, because there are so many teams after the 2008 Titans, including the 2012 and 2013 Titans, where they play ugly games and they're not able to win ugly games, which included at the Seahawks in the 2013 season. Now, on to the other 11 games I have them winning. I'll start with this sheet. The Texans, I have it as being a competitive, great, dramatic, close game. The Titans make more great plays than the Texans. The Titans win time of possession because they succeed running the football, using Henry, the locomotive, Derrick Henry, the destroyer. Henry runs for more than 110 yards, and the Titans win the turnover battle. The Steelers game, again, that's a competitive, good, close game that the Titans win because Henry runs for more than 106 yards. The Titans win time of possession because the Titans succeed running the football with Henry, the destroyer. Derrick Henry, the destroyer, Henry, the locomotive. The Browns game, also competitive, good, close game. The Titans make more great plays to win a close game. Henry isn't contained because he runs for more than 100 yards, and the Titans win the turnover battle. And again, Browns might be they're a better coach team than they were last year he's not a head coach, Freddie Kitchens, which is why I don't expect this to become an embarrassment like it did. I think it was in the final quarter of the Titans-Browns NFL Week 1 2019 game. I don't expect that to happen. The Titans win the turnover battle. The Titans defense forces Trubisky to make great mistakes, and they'll take advantage of those mistakes. Bears defense can't contain Henry because Henry runs for more than 105 yards, and the Titans win time of possession because they successfully run the football. All reasons why the Titans win a competitive, good, close game. I know I only have close game, but I'm still adding that. On to the Lions. This is the only game where I have them winning in a game that is not going to be competitive and close. The Titans make great plays, both passing and Henry running in the first half and also the second half. The Titans win time of possession, and they also win the turnover battle. And the Titans making those high amount of great plays, both passing and Henry running in the first half. That's why I expect the Titans, they're going to be leading, they're going to be winning by more than 14 points at halftime, and they're going to continue to score more than double-digit points in the second half, and they win this game by more than 21 points, and I'm confident, but by 21 points, correction, by 21 points or more, and I'm confident that's going to happen because the Bears, they had issues. Correction, the Lions, they had issues against the Bears, and that was in Detroit. And the Titans have they have a greater offensive arsenal, including with Derrick the Destroyer Henry, Derrick the Locomotive Henry, and arguably, no doubt at all, a Julio Jones-style wide receiver that is A.J. Brown, a also great wide receiver, Corey Davis, a tight end that is becoming a successful weapon since he had to replace Delaney Walker, Jonnu Smith, etc. So yeah, I'm highly confident that the Titans are going to be winning by more than 14 points in the first half. They'll have had a great first half where they scored more than 17 points more than 20 points in the first half, and they score more than 20 points in the second half, and they win by 21 points or more in that game against a outmatched, out of their weight class Lions team. And with the Lions giving up just great plays in both the first half and the second half, this is going to be a long, freaking, miserable day for the Lions when they travel to Nashville, Music City. The Colts, a competitive, good, close game that I'm going to change it. Yeah, a competitive, good, close game that the Titans win because Tannehill makes less mistakes than Rivers, and Titans win the turnover battle. Henry runs for more than 106 yards, and the Titans benefit from those Rivers interceptions. Obviously, those turnovers could also be fumbles, except I'm confident with having seen Rivers play for his NFL career going all the way back to his Chargers days, that those mistakes, those turnovers are going to be Rivers interceptions. This is a great Tennessee cap that I ended up ordering from NFL Shop that got delivered on Tuesday, which was the same day that the Titans ended up beating the Broncos because it was a late Monday Night Football game, so it ended up getting finished. If you're in the Central Time Zone, which I am, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. That's the Central Time Zone. Ended up finishing, if you're in the Central Time Zone, on a Tuesday. And the same day, hours later, this NFL 100 years cap, 2019 draft cap, ended up getting delivered. And it has the three Tennessee state flag stars on it right here. And also has the Titans logo, so it's a freaking terrific or excellent Titans cap. Okay. The Bills. The Titans play a this is a competitive, great, dramatic, close game, and the Titans play when they play the Bills, that's going to be a competitive, dramatic, great, close game. And the Titans play a great game, executing great plays more than the Bills, executing more plays. I forgot to put great plays, but anyway, the Titans play a great game, executing more great plays than the Bills. The Titans make more great plays than the Bills. Okay, correction. That was just right. The Titans play a great game versus the Bills. They execute more plays than the Bills, which would include both their offense and defense. Even though it doesn't say that, that's what I'm saying. What I mean by that, the Titans make more great plays than the Bills. And the Titans win the turnover battle. Henry runs for more than 115 yards. Tannehill makes less mistakes than Allen, who is he's pretty much a better version of Trubisky, including the fact of his consistency. And he plays good or great for the first quarter, for either 4 quarters or a full game. While Trubisky, that's something I've seen it like in the Bears, where it's something you have to, like in that Lions game, NFL Week 1 is something you have to wait for, and I haven't seen much consistency from him other than that one great season that he had when the Bears won their division, ended up losing in the first round to the Eagles. Anyways, and the Titans win time possession. The Titans win time of possession because they succeed running the football with using Derrick the Destroyer Henry, Derrick the Locomotive Henry. I've seen it for multiple games against the Bills where they're just not able to successfully execute enough plays to beat the Bills. The Titans aren't able to make enough great plays, mainly in both the first half and the second half, to defeat the Bills, and they find ways to self-destruct, including in that game last season against the Bills where Henry was able to score a touchdown, except it was brought back because of a Titans penalty. I think it was holding or something else of that nature. This year, I expect the Titans, the Vrabel Titans, the third year Vrabel Titans to successfully defeat the Bills because they don't make those common self-destructive penalties. They make more great plays than the Bills in both the first half and in the second half. And they execute plays in both the first half and second half to end this damn losing streak to the freaking Bills. Jaguars, a competitive, great, dramatic, close game that the Titans end up winning because they effectively defend when needed. The Titans win time of possession because they succeed with running the football using Derrick the Destroyer Henry, Derrick the Locomotive Henry. Henry has a great game running for more than 115 yards. Minshew isn't highly effective because the Titans win time of possession. In other words, sometimes the best offense is a good sometimes the best defense is a good offense, and with the Titans winning time of possession, Minshew can't be highly effective because he's on the field less time. And I know this because that's what the Titans need, because I've seen what he can do if he's on the field for a high amount of time, because I saw that Thursday night football game against Titans Jaguars. He has a high amount of time to throw. He's going to complete those passes. He's a great thrower and an effective runner. And the Titans were not able to get pressure on him for most of the game, for both the first half and the second half, and I don't expect that nightmare to get repeated on this Sunday when they play the Jaguars in NFL Week 2 in Nashville. So I can't wait to watch that. I can't wait for the Titans to make that statement against that Jaguars team. Start 2-0 for the first time since 2008. And here's at Jaguars, a competitive, great, that's at Jaguars, a competitive, great, dramatic, close game that the Titans make more great plays needed to win. The Titans win the turnover battle by 1, and Henry runs for more than 116 yards. The Titans defense defends when needed in a high-scoring, dramatic, close, competitive game. And this is one where Minshew, he gets to be on the field more, except the Titans defense shows that they can defend when needed, even when Minshew is going to get more time to be on the field. Except the Titans defense shows that they can be highly effective they defend when needed. They're a bend don't break defense, which will get shown when they play the Minshew Jaguars in Jacksonville. And then this is the one I am most excited about, one for the Titans to show. Most excited to watch this game. Well, this is one of the games I'm most excited about as far as the road games and as far as the ones that have the Titans winning. At Vikings, The Vikings defense, as far as why I have the Titans defeating the Vikings in Minnesota in a great, dramatic, competitive, close game. The Vikings defense doesn't contain Henry. Henry runs for, in other words, Henry's going to be having long runs in both the first half and the second half. And even if the Vikings do contain him in the first half, they're not able to contain him in the second half. Except, again, I expect him, saying right now that Henry isn't contained for both the first half and the second half. Henry runs for more than 116 yards, so he's going to have a great day in Minnesota. The Titans defense intercepts Cousins more than once. Tannehill is an effective game manager, meaning he isn't going to try and make those, he isn't going to have those, like, kind of terrible passes like he had in that wild card game against the Patriots. I expect him to just be an effective game manager like he was when he played the Ravens in that division playoffs game. And right, he didn't have any interceptions in that game, so that's what I expect of him of that, except he's going to be throwing the football more, except, again, he's going to be an effective game manager. And even if the Vikings defense even if he does have interceptions, expect it to be less than Cousins, because the Titans defense is going to, including with Clowney, they're going to force him to make great mistakes in the Titans defense, mainly their secondary. It could also be their linebackers and their secondary is going to take advantage of those mistakes with interceptions. Tannehill is an effective game manager, and also he'll run when needed, except it won't be that many times, except, again, he'll run when needed. The Titans win the turnover battle, which I expect the Titans win the turnover battle, and the Titans make more great plays needed to win a competitive, great, dramatic, close game. And oh yeah, and I did put it on here, but I'm adding it. The Titans execute more plays than the Vikings for both, which includes both defense and offense. The Titans' defense and offense executes more plays than the Vikings' offense and defense. And I'm also saying that the Titans, they score more than 28 points in Minnesota. I'm saying they're gonna score more than 4. I'm not saying they're gonna score like what the Packers scored, or they score 40 points or more. Because I'm still confident in the Titans, with benefiting with Cousins throwing more than one interception, and the Titans benefiting from those interceptions. That the Titans. My battery's low, except anyways, with the Titans benefiting from those Cousins interceptions, they do score, along with able to Titans execute plays more. The Titans offense and defense executes more plays than the Vikings offense and defense. And also the Titans, they benefiting from those Cousins turnovers, they outplay. The Titans benefiting from those Cousins interceptions, which is why I'm confident that they score more than 10 points from those Cousins. They score more than 10. They score more than 10 points off of the Cousins interceptions. And also, I'm confident the Titans are going to score more than 28 points and defeat the Vikings in Minnesota. I'm not saying they're going to score as much as like 40 points or more like the Vikings did. I mean, I don't like the Packers did in NFL Week 1. Except I'm still confident the Titans are going to score more than 28 points against a Vikings team that has a good or has an effective defense enough where it's going to be challenging to score more than 21 points against that Vikings team, mainly in Minnesota. So that's the road. The at Vikings game is a game that I'm most of all these wins, the one I'm looking most forward to, mainly besides the Bills, so they can finally end that damn losing streak to the damn Bills, also is at the Vikings, where the Titans can make that statement and have Cousins freaking frustrated, have the rest of the Vikings team frustrated, because the Titans came into Minnesota, they took over Minnesota, they're not able to contain Henry. Henry is running roughshod all over the defense. He is bulldozing past, he is running roughshod on the Vikings defense. It's looking like freaking Earl Campbell. And the Vikings, they just are freaking frustrated because they're not able to contain Henry. Cousins is looking like terrible Cousins, throwing multiple interceptions, throwing more than one interception, and the Titans make a statement in Minnesota. So that's the game. Besides the Bills game, that's the game I'm most looking forward to, that I also have the Titans winning. Of the 11 games that I have the Titans winning. Those are my detailed predictions of why I have the Titans losing those stated 5 games and why I have the Titans winning those stated 11 games. And I know that Broncos game already happened, except if you look at my Facebook, and if you look at my predictions on multiple Titans-Broncos YouTube videos, I did post my detailed prediction of why the Titans winning that. So this is not just something where I'm just adding it in after the game. I had it posted before the Titans-Broncos game.